In this video, I'd like to talk a little bit more about hand paths and different sources of torque in the downswing. Let's also do a little comparison between an expert golfer and a typical low to medium handicap golfer, as you see pictured here. This is my student Dennis. He's a pretty good golfer, but he would love to get longer and more consistently straight. Let's take a look at a couple of the key elements of his downswing through the impact zone and compare them to more of an expert golfer, and let's see what we can learn. Notice here by the top of the swing that Dennis has already created a gap between his butt and the chair of about 2 inches. That's kind of a preview of what's to come. Now let's watch as he goes into his downswing. You're going to see he's not in bad shape here, although you can see how the rear end is even pushing further forward off the chair. You're starting to see his weight go a bit into his toes as his pelvis is not shifting really on the right vector. It's kind of going a little more right of second base. And here's where the key move comes in. The hand path is going to go out to right field post-impact. Watch this move. See that hand path? He's just talking about the handle, not the club head. Does not appear to arc around his body, but instead kind of gets thrown out into right field. When the hand path is more like this, and it doesn't arc very well around the body, it doesn't introduce a lot of that kick of the head around the shaft like you might see in my water ski example. Now, a more rounded hand path that arcs back around to the left is going to provide a lot more acceleration of the club head and squaring torque. Now, in lieu of that, he would normally come in very, very open club faced and block this ball, but he's figured out a way to make his club face a little bit closed throughout the swing. And on top of that, he's got to apply a different source of torque, which is just a shaft spinning around itself torque, or what you might see a flipping over of the toe torque. So watch the toe of the club as it comes out here, and you see how much the toe has been rotated, or how much the shaft has spun around itself in order to get this ball to head reasonably straight. Last point, you look at the exit here, how vertical it is. Go back one frame right to here. See how vertical that shaft is, and you can see here how much the toe of the club has flipped over. Very hard to control a club face that is revolving this rapidly. Okay, by contrast, let's look at an expert golfer, one of the prettiest swings you're likely to see. Fun to watch. This is Robert Rock. I haven't heard from him in a while, but what a beautiful golf swing. So at the top of the swing, he doesn't have a huge advantage over Dennis. He's a little bit longer, of course, of a swing, but he's a lot younger. The big difference on the way down here is that you see that he's going to maintain the rump line better. So he's in better shape coming down because he's not pushing over onto his toes, but instead his weight is transferring more into the outside of the left heel. The right heel is not quite coming up so high so fast. Now watch from the slot here how his handle is going to arc. This is a great view right down the handle line. Watch it arc and disappear behind his belly by the time he gets to parallel again, horizontal parallel with the shaft. But notice on the exit that the face of the club is tracking so much squarer to the arc. You see, because of his hand path not going out, in this case it would go out across that stick line he's got on the ground. His handle would go outside of that almost. But it arcs around to the left, creating a lot more squaring torque for the club face, so that he does not have to apply the shaft spinning torque nearly as much. Now let's watch the exit here. The exit comes out the armpit, much more parallel to the shoulders. And look at the toe of the club. The leading edge of the club, from our perspective, is kind of lining up straight with the shaft rather than being kind of flipped over like Dennis had it. So if Dennis wants to hit the ball longer and consistently straight, he would want to move in these directions. He would want to maintain the butt line a little bit better and get the club to come on around the arc and exit more to the left, and that will give him the necessary squaring torque along that new hand path that he'll need so that he doesn't have to flip the face over anymore. This will get his path straighter and also give him much more club face control and steadiness through the impact zone. So if you're having a difficult time hitting lots of consecutive shots straight and you're just finding your ball is just going into the rough or the trees too often, this is a really good place to start looking for the solution. Is, hey, as you're losing your butt depth and is the handle path either out to right field, worst case scenario, or even straight to center field at second base exiting is not a great scenario either. We really want to get that hand path exiting on an arc back around our body to the left again so we can keep the club face a bit more stable through the hit. Hey, this is Steve. Thanks so much for watching, and as usual, I'll either see you in the next video or I'll see you longer and straighter down the fairway. Everybody take good care.